it's not too bad on pistol not to do this, but it's just that we're not saying anything. No comms. And I think as a controller player, a lot of your strength can come from your comms. But I don't mind it too much on pistol because it's like the first round of the game, so it can be a bit difficult to like come like straight at the gate what you want to do with someone, like what you want to do with like your teammates or whatever. Because you just don't know how they play and you don't really know what to expect. And it's a lot easier to give like reaction comms, like reactionary type, like adaptation type comms, than it is to just straight up say let's do a strat on the first round of the game without playing with anyone. So I do understand that, but there's a cheat code you can do basically. That's like on every map, just get it like a pistol round on every map, mainly for attack. Don't worry too much about defense yet. Like defense is definitely easier, but you can have your own like mini set play, so you can call over like a teammate or two. That tend to be a bit easier to do. Defense does, but if you're struggling on an attack to call, just like try and get like a pistol round for every map, and then you actually can get like pretty consistent comms on the first round. And it really helps as well if you're like consistently calling from the first round. Your teammates will expect it, and that can be like a double-edged sword. Like if you're not prepared to shot call majority of the rounds, then it might be a detriment to like, shot call early and then not shot call later. But for the most part, if you're expecting to call like the majority of the game, then you should get it off like from the start. I think I would have opened the door. Yeah, I also probably would have called Sky to dog through the door, because going through all main it kind of sucks. Because it gives them the tree, right? You don't want to give them tree and door. You can just open the door and pressure. Just honestly, even just opening the door and not doing anything with it, just like looking through it, is enough pressure to like stop someone from hitting in tree, and it can just force them into making a mistake. So just honestly open the door whenever you're near, usually on the start. Okay, so now you can actually see we're like exposed at this point. We have a knife. We have our knife out. Like, there could easily be someone here. Especially, I think it's going to be Omen, if anyone, going to be appearing there. We don't really plant in a good spot either. So, on Lotus B, you don't want to plant. You want to be planting in this sort of region over here, because generally this region really sucks, like percentage conversion-wise. I don't know. Don't know what the actual percentages are, but I'm pretty sure that this plant is the lowest conversion of all the plants for B. I would just call someone to fight heaven with me. Like, because even then, right, you did like notice, you literally called that guy, killed the raise, right? So kills the raise. Like at that point, if you want to, you just stick the plant, right? And then you just say, you can even say it while this person is, while you're actually planting. It is quite, to be fair, it's quite weird that your teammates aren't coming out, but it literally just don't matter. What you should say is you should come to one of them to like, come and fight with you. And I'm pretty sure they would do it, especially because it's pistol. On the first round, I actually feel like people are much more inclined to listen to their teammates on the first couple rounds of the game, than more so than the last couple rounds in the game. So I would just call one over to help me like fight with something. That's pretty much how that would go. I mean, honestly, it doesn't even matter where you fight. It doesn't matter as long as you are fighting together somewhere. I think it was better than whatever play we ended up making, but. So, on second round, on Omen, personally at least, I tend to buy full utility. Maybe I don't get one traded step, like I go like 1, 1, 2, or just 1, I guess 1, you only buy 1. Sorry. What happens there is I'm not going to use my paranoia, my traded step, and my second smoke if I don't need it. Sometimes I'll buy 1 smoke as well. The reason why I buy 1 smoke is because this 1 smoke is always going to regenerate, right? So it's technically free. But if I buy a second one and need one smoke specifically, then I'm going to waste the money on the second smoke. And I only ever needed 1. So I don't tend to buy 1 sometimes. And it usually depends on the actual play I'm going for. Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to have 2 smokes on eco anyway, just because of like the way you tend to play on ecos. It's nice to have like multiple smokes to use when you've got lower guns, like the classics. But yeah, I don't mind. I think when it comes to like cycling it, I don't think it's that relevant for ecos. massively, because you really should be playing like at least a semi-faster pace. Trying to get like into the opponent's face, and cycling tends to be something that you do when you're like playing a lot slower. I think maybe we're focusing too much on this door, because we've already got that. In fact, this smoke kind of helps us not focus on door. Like once this smoke goes down, like the smoke we're currently in, you can just play with your team. Like your teammates are going in, and you're just watching the door. And I just don't think it's your job. Like you should be just going in. It's because it's an eco. Like think about it like this, right? Your teammates are going in, and everyone has like bad guns, right? But the thing is 2 bad guns versus 1 good gun will probably beat it, you know, or has a higher chance to beat it. So I just would go in with the team here. On the eco here, what I would do is I would smoke this front part first, like where the enemy Omen actually ended up smoking, which is quite funny because it actually would technically favor us in some ways. And what it does look like it cuts us off, right? It allows us to take this front part, and then we can just go through the door, or we can go B. Like a lot of the times, actually, it's better to just like take this. Take like this front part, just because we're eco, right? We don't want to be fighting this angle specifically. This angle sucks, because they're super long angles into our classics. So if you just smoke this off, we're not going to get killed by like a marshal on this corner. And then we can take a front mid, or like front A main, and then we can choose to rotate or choose to go through door. Or we can even push the smoke. We have a sky. We can just flash with the smoke and be explosive. Yeah, so here I would have tried to go in with my team on A. So Raze ended up dying to Evan. Where's our... Okay, we ended up cycling the smoke as well because we took too long. I think this might be like a symptom of the elo in some ways, where I think in general everyone's just a bit slow. So I guess that's the reason why I think you've probably come to the conclusion that cycling 3 times, like cycling your smoke is good on ecos. But generally, like, you want to be a bit more accelerated on ecos. Unless you have like a specific thing you're playing around, like a read that an enemy might push, do a dumb push, and then you can play a bit slower to catch them and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I think we should have taken this a lot faster. And then we would have had a smoke to go into A with, so our Raze probably wouldn't die to Heaven here, because we'd have it on Heaven. We'd have it here. But because that didn't happen, she dies. And we end up not going into A. And now we're in a really tough position, right, to win. Because they're going to fully rotate into where we have basically all of our members. Like Chambers B, but we basically have no map control, as well as no guns. So we're going to lose. Yeah, I think the main problem here was just this lack. Like the smokes weren't very good. We should just have slightly better smokes for eco. Closer smoke, or just a better idea of how to play with our smokes and eco there. And to make good use of both smokes, because circling 1 smoke doesn't really do too much on eco. So next we go with the buy round. It's be the interesting round.
Guys, can you flash the main star?
Okay. We're getting a little bit of shot calling going on. Flash. It's all over the place. 1 second. I must say I don't like your crosshair very much, but that's no reason to change it. By the way, I just don't like it. I can't really see it. But I guess actually, to be fair, it's because it's YouTube. Make it look worse than it is. If you like your crosshair, you like your crosshair, you know. Honestly, the best thing to do is just not to keep changing it. Just keep the same one. I've had the same one for 2 years. Actually, I say 2 years. Hang on, no mind. It's been 3. I think it's been 3. No, it's been 2. It's been 2. It's been 2 and 4 months. I think I've had the same one. Which is unreal. Almost 2.5 years I've had the same crosshair. Sorry, I keep watching this because I'm trying. Yeah, I think you beat this fine. Maybe a bit of an overspam on there, but okay, wasting a bit of time, but that's okay. The smoke's going down. So I'm guessing we're going in fast. Hopefully we are going in fast. We are. The smoke's on too early.
Nice one.
Gets one. I don't mind your TP actually.
Nice one.
But it doesn't really do anything. Like it doesn't. Like you're not like. Like what was the point in TPing here if you're just gonna sit in the corner? Because you can just walk there. You know what I mean? You can literally just run there, and to sit in this corner. Like TPs are good for like cheating time, right? And I like for instance, I could have just walked. You could have just walked there, and reloaded in that space of time and sat there still. So you kind of wasted your shredded step. Like think about shredded step in a way that like you want to cheat the amount of time it takes you to walk somewhere. And if you like, you have to be like thinking about the reward you'll get for that cheated time in some ways, right? There's plenty of TPs that do not mean a single thing because the cheated time means nothing. And like in this situation, the cheated time means absolutely nothing because you could have done this anyway. So try and use your TPs to like get into them positions. Like I would have not minded this TP a lot more. Sometimes someone hides behind that wall. Yeah, okay, so I understand. Yeah, to be fair, actually, you weren't really looking. You probably weren't looking at the map. So if right here, you probably look at the map, and then you probably not looking at the map now. Actually, to be fair though, you saw the boombot go off. I think it's realistic. You could have known that this person was dead because the boombot went off. The boombot went off. You also got an assist for your flash, and if you remember your flash line, your flash line is exactly on that wall. So I felt like you should have known that person was already dead. I think if anything, you would TP like on the top bit where Jet is, just to play with the Jet.
Nice one.
Maybe if someone like goes through CT or something. But even then, like I felt like this TP would actually accomplish the same thing if that was the case. I mean, we're not in the most horrendous position. That the reason why this isn't too bad is if we come to the Jet, to come and play off contact. Just say to her to watch CT. And play off my contact. And if you're immensely big brain, you can also say to the Raze to play off Jet's contact on CT, right? I say you can like organize your team here. And that's how I would be thinking about it, but I would also be looking at the map a lot more than I probably should be. But it's probably actually wrong actually thinking about it. I think your positioning is fine. I don't think that's the problem. You did actually trade at least. Yeah, so you say, what is that? And it's because I think you're just too focused on the wrong place. Because you know that Jet can watch this, right? Like, for me, it's like lack of comms, right? I think you saw that that our Jet was looking over here and just assumed that you should swap position. But I think you need to have like some like dominance in it where you're going to say like, I'm looking here, so you can't really watch anywhere else. You can't look at CT. So you're going to say to the Jet that I'm watching this. So can you play here and watch CT and play off my contact? That's I think how you have to, like you have to be a bit more like you have to stand your ground a bit to your teammates sometimes in that sort of situations, and that can be hard to do sometimes. It felt, I'm guessing at the time it would have felt like timing because honestly it would feel like you got out, like you would just had timing if but in reality it's because we weren't thinking about what we should have been watching. I like it. I think we could fit in the smoke first, mainly because it does like dodge the initial util. Because sometimes against good players, the Raze will sometimes put their nade here against good players. Sometimes the nade will go here and then they'll fight this, or they'll do the other way around. What they'll do is they'll nade this and then fight this guy, or they might nade this and then just hold their ground and fight the guy when he runs out of rubble. So usually it's better to just like the sequencing is like smoke first and then TP. But there are sequences that allow you to do this too. So I don't really mind too much. Generally it's if they don't really contest A main a massive amount, and I don't think they do. So, they have an operator. So I do think we need to be better at peeking angles. I think we're a bit undisciplined with it. Like we don't actually know the angles. And then we kind of over peek here and we expose ourselves to this corner, which by the way isn't cleared. Like anyone on this wall could definitely kill us here. We kind of skipped too many angles with this peek. I understand, actually to be fair, your crosshair placement right now in this position isn't terrible. It's just that it's a bit like you've like skipped the steps, you know what I mean? Like we need to like clean this up a tiny bit with the way we like peeking angles. I usually do that TP once or twice. If they nade it, I don't do it anymore. Yeah, that's fair. Problem is, versus like actually good players, it probably won't actually happen the way you want it to though, because that TP will just separate you from your team, and then they'll like try and kill you before your team can help you. So the TP isn't always that good, but I do like that you are like doing it on some rounds at least. It shows to me you have some confidence, especially with like the peaks and things. But that's good. Like you can't really teach confidence very much. So if you find a way to be confident, it's pretty good. Okay, so basically when you actually originally peaked, you should peak like this, like on this corner. And then you kind of do this. So you pre-aim like the next area. Pre-aim the next area, pre-aim the next area. So when it comes to actually getting the speed of this, it's all about having like the technique down. So don't worry too much. Don't worry too much about like speed. I just think that we need to prioritize going to the door a lot more. Like, it's weird because you have like such a I think maybe you don't actually have the confidence I think you have in some ways, because you're confident like this doing this, right? But I feel like you don't think you're going to ever take a fight here. I don't think you're actually ever going to take fights here. And that's the reason why you maybe don't take the angle very seriously with the way you peek, and also why you're actually doing it in the first place. Because then I look at you do this, and I'm thinking that you just don't want to fight at some points as well. Like, you're not actually having the actual aggression that I expected. I don't really know what we're doing. We need to maybe be a bit more like active than this. Like, we're not really doing anything. We're just kind of looking at smokes, looking at walls. Yeah, we just need to, you know, Valorant's not a game where you need to be doing something at all times. Like, there are times where you just need to stand there and watch an angle. But I think we actually need to do that. Like, we're kind of doing nothing because we're running around aimlessly looking at smokes and looking at walls. Like, we're not even watching angles specifically. Like, if we just decided to watch the flank or like do something, like hold an angle in main or something, or just go through the doorway and hold tree or something like that, right? Open the door and even look through the door. I was wondering if we could go back, but we're looking at the door. My playstyle kind of depends on sides and maps. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really like the oh, my PC just like had a different problem. I think I just maybe DC'd from the game. I don't know. I don't really like the word playstyle in a lot of ways. I mean, this might be maybe a bit too much of a deep thought, but like, at the end of the day, like, we shouldn't really think about it like that. I think it's like not a very good way to think about it. Like, you should be thinking about what the right plays are rather than like what the way I play it is, if that makes sense. I'm not sure exactly how to explain my oh my god, you were hitting shots. The thing is, okay, that's actually just annoying me a tiny bit. There's no way. So you were really confident originally in the round. Ain't no way. You're really confident here because you feel like you don't think you're going to take a fight here because you lazily peek this. And then you don't fight anything. You don't go through the door. You don't hold an angle through the doorway. Someone could easily try to fight you through this door. Ain't no way you then get into a situation like this and you're tapping everyone's heads.
Last player standing.
Okay, I mean, your mechanics are good. Like, you take your time really well on these fights. Oh, that's actually unlucky. Ooh, I mean, I guess you don't need to... I mean, obviously, it's just like mechanically, you just don't need to jump TP there on Omen. If anything, you should be jumping into the corner rather than jumping out the corner.
I told you.
But honestly, your mechanics there were really good. Like, you took your time, took your shots. They were actually really good shots. Yeah, I think it's marginally unlucky at the end though. I do like playing aggressive, but yeah, I don't know what I was doing. So yesterday, I'm not sure if you were there for the stream. I don't expect you to be. But I was reviewing Som, and he was playing Viper on Breeze, and he had 4 duelists on his team, but there were so many rounds where he was the first player to take fights on attack. Like, he would be ahead of his duelists. The reason why is because he knew that he was better. He was confident. There was no like technical reason for it. He's playing Viper, right? One of the agents that benefits the most from living alive, like staying alive the longest, right? So it made no sense for him to take the first fights. The only reason why he did it is because he was confident. So if you're confident and you like playing aggressive, do not care about what your teammates are doing. Just do not care. Take a lesson out of Som's book. Don't worry about your teammates like playing too slow. And I think the thing is as well, something that also might happen as well is that if you do play super fast, then your teammates might start playing super fast because you're playing fast. Because sometimes it just takes one person to start that like domino effect of someone trying to support you, like, and no one's making that first like step, right? Obviously, it's like some stuff like the first step is always the hardest when like doing these things, like the first action, the first like getting started is always the hardest thing. Like it's the same, exactly the same thing. Like people, if no one's being aggressive, it's super hard for someone to start being aggressive. So you need to be that person. But every time I die trying to enter, it feels like I'm doing something wrong. Even if you die and you feel like it feels wrong, it shouldn't really feel wrong because you wanted to make that play and you thought it was the correct play, right? And the best part is about that, right, is that if you think that was the correct play, then it gives you way more of a stepping stone to improve on that play, right? Because if you think it's correct, what you did, then you can learn from it a lot easier than if you think something is wrong and then you've done it, right? If that makes sense. I don't know how to quite explain that thought process. So if you think something is wrong and you do it, right, you don't exactly show yourself like you've shown yourself like how it's gone wrong, but you're not exactly showing like the best play possible to yourself. So you're kind of like learning a lot slower in a lot of ways, when if you just say to yourself, this is the correct play to me, I'm going to do it, and then you do it, and it didn't turn out to be the correct play, it's a much better place to like start learning from. That makes sense? So we're lurking this round. We're kind of like... Not sure with the bomb though, with no ult. Like if we had ult, I would like this a bit more. In general. Ooh. I'm not sure if we had to shoot that, because... It gave the Killjoy more time to realise, right? When her thing dies. Like, you didn't have to actually kill anything here. You could just walk in. And if it activates, you've got enough time, it makes sound, right? So you can just walk onto site and plant. The thing is, I actually don't mind you doing it. It's a bit risky, like, because if anyone decides to, like, actually contest C-Link, like, we're just kind of lucky, I think, in some ways that Killjoy went so fast at A. But at the same time, actually, we can kind of read it, because I'm not sure if you did this intentionally, but we went A lot of the time so far in this game. C once, and we like took site basically instantly. So if you didn't have any sound on C, she probably wouldn't expect us to go C. So she just insta-rotated. Sorry, I don't know what I was doing with the spot. Yeah, I expected her to be here, so I thought breaking it wouldn't matter that much since the turret would spot me. Yeah, fair enough. That's fine. I think the most important thing is that we just didn't check. I can understand what you mean, but we didn't check like where the turret was. Like if I don't like contact the turret, like I'm not gonna shoot it. Can we go back to the pre-round? I think I call it to take C. Oh, sorry, I didn't know. I must have missed that. So we just said.
Let's do a split push.
We just said let's do a split push and do it slow. So that can mean anywhere on this map, to be honest. That you can split push every side but C. So and we go in C. So I don't know what you mean by split push. Yeah, so that like a split push would probably mean B the most on this map. Maybe you could mean through door on A, like you can mean going doing this. But other than that, like I don't see split push meaning anything towards D. And I don't think your teammates would have twigged that you meant C either from split push.
Shadows traveling.
You were a bit slow on the default smoke, but I don't think that anyone would pick up on this elo. I do think here you need to contact the turret before you do anything. Honestly, it's crazy the turret's in its position. I thought it would be on the box. Yeah, you do need to say the site you're going to. That's ideal. Just say the site, if anything. Like, that's the most important piece of information to say. What site you want to take. How you do it is obviously really important too, but, you know, especially if, like, you're not giving super detailed calls, like, the bare minimum is basically saying what site you're going to. Okay, so right here, like, I think we just need to get some game plans down. Like, we need to understand some situations that we put ourselves in. So right now, if I was in your situation, I have a Jet next to me, I have a Raze next to me. I'm going to choose one of these players to talk to work with. So either I'm going to say, Jet, can you hold Waterfall? And I'm going to play Contact off this corner. Or Raze, can you hold CT? I'm going to play Contact off you. Or vice versa. To be fair, the Raze one's a lot harder. You need a smoke here, really, for it to happen. You can also say, Raze, can you hold like the CT walkout? So this like left side, left side for them, right side for you. This like behind the wall. Over here. And I'll peek off you, right? I think the Jet one is probably a bit easier to call and to play out. Once we get our smoke up though, we can definitely do the Raze one. So we can say to the Raze, like, can you play Contact CT? You can also, if you're worried about people like saying that you're baiting them as well, even though that should never be the case. Like if you're playing, like, calling for contact players, if you are worried about a teammate losing their mental because they think that you're baiting them, you can just be the one to contact and they can swing off you. If you really like, if you can kind of do both, like if you can call for either one, you can put yourself to be the one to die or to get traded if you really want to. Generally, you probably want to avoid that as much as possible, especially because you are playing Omen compared to like a Raze or a Jet that don't have cooldowns, like don't have actual cooldowns, but Omen does. And obviously, it depends on your actual cooldowns too. Like if you don't have it, like for instance, this smoke probably won't come up in a relevant timing. So it doesn't actually matter. Usually, it's just a thing that destroys their own mental. Usually, and obviously, don't get me wrong, people can get baited and that kind of stuff. It just happens a lot less than I think people call it out for. Like a lot of the time, people are just really slow at trading. This is usually the main thing that happens, especially in the lower ranks. Like at the higher ranks, it's a lot more likely that someone's baiting when that kind of stuff happens. Because realistically, they should be able to trade in a decently in a decent timing. But they're also playing against better players too, so it's hard to say sometimes. Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily say this angle's bad. I didn't actually realise that she could see you there. But no, today I learned, I guess. You're just kind of waiting for them. I'm not sure if we comm this to our teammates. In fact, it doesn't really matter if you choose your mate. You probably should comm that you're going to wait for Killjoy or something if you had this read. Because you clearly did have some sort of read. You were waiting here, so you kind of knew. But the thing I don't like with this, even though I do kind of like that you want to kind of make this type of play. Oh, you didn't. Okay. So I don't know what you were doing. Because we can tell they're on eco, right? Actually, hopefully you press tab. We know they're on eco. You can look at the money. They're on eco. We don't really want to be splitting ourselves up too much when we're against ecos, especially with the bomb, because we're giving them 3 2v1s, whatever, right? Oh, you didn't come. Okay, you had the read. Okay, that makes sense. I was say because there's no way you wouldn't have the read. I think if you're doing this, like, it doesn't make much sense unless you're like AFK or something. But yeah, I think yeah, you had the read. Yeah, you didn't come. That's okay. I think what you need to do here is just not be alone. You need to make sure, like, if you wanted to make this play and wait for the Killjoy, because you had the read, say to a teammate, just come with you or like stay with you. So then you're not put in like a really horrible situation if she like brought an extra teammate with her, or if you like, you know, she has a sheriff, right? So there's a decent chance she could still win this. Even then, like, you do not want to put yourself in a 1v1 at the start of a round against an eco, because you know there's a slim chance that you lose it, and I don't think it's worth the slim chance just to bring over a teammate. Makes that chance of them getting the kills, like they have to get 2 kills. It's basically 0% chance they beat you, or really close to 0. We end up getting that. I'm not sure exactly what. I guess he said. I guess you want to go C, but I think he said go A or come A. I can't quite tell.
Shadows traveling.
And you hard read that C's clear.
Shadows traveling.
Honestly, I think I would have made the same read. Because there's no way that Killjoy has like someone. There's no way that someone's sitting sight if Killjoy's on that. That's good. That's good. Good brain. Good thoughts. Good read. In general, like this round was pretty good for reads. I should have come here, but very bad. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not gonna pick apart like pronunciation and things like. Yeah, I'd be stupid to do so with the way I speak. Sometimes. Most of the time. Oh, this is spooky. Yeah, so I think I think when we're in this position, we're over peaking. Like, we're playing like a position that's really good when someone else contacts and we can swing off them. We're not really in a good position where we want to expose ourselves, because when you do this peak, I don't think you realise you're actually exposed to like someone sitting up here on CT. You're actually exposed here from your left side. I don't think you realise that. It's not a very good one to peek out from by yourself. It's more. It definitely is more more reasonable to peek out this side and peek CT, because you're less exposed to this side. Like, they have to be really close to actually see you. But I think overall, like, you probably should just be saying to a teammate, I'm going to contact off you or whatever.
Where? rushing out.
Yeah, I don't, where did our teammate die? Do we know where he died?
See hall, see hall. No? I am so dead.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, he died to the rocket.
Where?
Yeah, so there's no need to like walk up to this smoke because we know that they don't have a gun. So and we know that it's eco, right? So we have no need to like try and fight them because they should just try and dice the bomb.
What the fuck?
Because we know that they don't want to have no money next round, and you know the only gun that's possible for them to get is on site. So you know if they're not fighting, then that's good for us because it means we're not risking any guns of our own, and then they're just going to get the same outcome anyway. So it doesn't really matter. If anything, it's good this way. I'm pretty sure that I actually don't know. I pretty sure know this. She maybe have already had ult. Yeah, she did. Okay, doesn't matter. She wasn't going to get orbs either way actually as well. So you know that kind of micro thing doesn't really matter. Do we make...
Okay, you push B.
Teammates make a call. You agree, that's fine. Yeah, I like it. Agreement comms are like underrated comms in some ways. It's nice to know that someone agrees instantly with what you're doing. I do. More important in solo queue than anything else, obviously. Because usually when the teammate calls it and you like know them or like you're in like a team, then you don't really need the agreement comms because they're probably already like IGL. And everyone already agrees. I called Rush B before a bit. Oh.
Not see B, sorry. Let's just push B.
Push B. Okay, so to be fair, at least he did the bare minimum this time, and he said B. So, but I think push B. To be fair, I do this sometimes as well. And the thing is that I reap the bad rewards when I do it as well. Is that we don't really say like how, we don't really say the speed. Like the how is like one of the more important things past saying what site we're doing. So we're going to do it fast, we're going to do it slow. Especially important as well because if you don't say the speed of which you want to go, they're going to go at their own pace. And I can tell you from watching this VOD alone that they're going to choose slow every time. So as you can see, like I'm looking at the map right now. Our smokes are down. And these duelists, they do not want to go out. They are scared. Is it the average duelist experience? Well, our Raze is thinking about going back. And nothing's even happened yet. Our Sky's assaulted and our Raze is on the way out. So we need to be specifying. We need to specify speed. We need to tell people what they actually need to do as well. Like, if the Raze will be doing this all game, which she has done, more or less, say to the Raze, can you satchel heaven when we go out? Or something like that, right? And they'll have that in their head and they'll want to do it. And I'll do it. Obviously, if they don't do it, don't take it out on them. It's whatever, right? If they don't follow your call, they don't follow your call. There's nothing you can really do about it. And honestly, that's going to happen a lot of the time. Or a decent amount of time.
Come back.
I do try to say hey, but I realised that everything just goes so wrong since it's too detailed. So I like calling rushing or playing slow or something. Maybe occasionally 1 or 2 utils. But usually just very brief calls. So if you want to get better at shot calling and like what you should do, just open Notepad and just break down. So this is a really big skill that I think everyone needs in life. Never mind Valorant. And the most important thing when you're doing anything is to just break it down. If you want a shot call, do the first 2 steps that I just said. So just do the sight and the speed. And if you really want to, you can call like for instance a really obvious util is Killjoy ult. Call a Killjoy ult. Obviously you can't do it this game, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like kind of do those 3 things.
Come back.
And then yeah, you don't really have to do anything else specifically. You can do like as I said, the Raze satchels as well. If you see like one of your like that's mainly specifically to duelists, I would say, where you want to say like to my duelists that they're playing a bit slow, so you can kind of call out their own util to make them a bit faster with the way they're thinking, because they're going to be overthinking their util a lot and not actually thinking about going out. So you can kind of think about their util for them before their end starts, and then they'll be a bit more. They'll think a bit less, so they'll be able to go out faster. That can kind of help, but that would also be something that you would have to learn in the game about your duelist. But what we did is we ran out and we stopped and then aimed. So we don't want to stop then aim. So you can see right now we are not aiming at their head. But for some reason, we stopped, and then now we're aiming.
Start of the round, but you got
Okay, we're getting some defense. So defense shot calling should be easier.
uh,
It's no different. It's not different. It's no
come, eh?
it's like one of the. It's just so easy, so much easier to do set plays on defense, right? Than it is on attack. Attack is more adaptive.
Someone's gotta go
You have to be more adaptable
but you gotta go.
on attack. When on defense, you need to be
I want you to
less
take this
adaptive and
one,
more
because
set.
we're gonna be
You need more set plays on defense.
catching it.
Especially, honestly, I think Lotus is one of the easiest ones to shot call on defense too, because it's honestly just most of the time contest A main in the set play ways. You can easily look on like YouTube, look for a pro game, and they'll do it really well every time, and you can just replicate that. People in ranked also get that as well fairly decently, so you can kind of explain what you need. So we're in a 2v3, so we kind of need something to, we need to like make it some sort of play, right? So I actually don't mind the Rays kind of separating from you, because we kind of need, like if we played 2v3 and we just traded down, we'd lose by one player. So I kind of like that the Rays went to try and separate from you and try and find like a 1v1, or like you should try and find a 1v1 or something along those lines, right? End up losing it. I think because the Rays is fighting, what I would do is I just wouldn't fight, because I know my Rays is fighting. It is hard with the time going, but I would just try to find like no fight, unless the thing is, actually, the more I think about it, like, so there's there's a couple ways to think about it. So when the Rays is fighting in the 3v2, right, and we're separated, sometimes it's better just to not fight, because that way we can like, she'll win. If she wins the fight, it's like a 2v2, right, and we can try and play a 2v2 that way. There are a couple other ways to think about it though. If she loses the fight, I've wasted a lot of time that I could be using myself to get a potential kill or two. So, and at this point, we kind of have to think to ourselves, like, what util do I have to make something happen? You have smoke in 3 seconds. So, this is a really, really important thing for Omen specifically, that when you have a smoke and a TP up in a retake, those are some of like the strongest tools you can have in these sort of situations when you have no teammates. You can smoke in the middle of the site and TP into it, and it can create a lot of pressure. I'm not sure if I would have done it in this specific circumstance though. I think I probably would have, what I would have done, I would have smoked like this here, and tried to find like a fight out my smoke somewhere. And yeah, maybe I would have found a fight, went back into the smoke and TP'd out the smoke somewhere, or something along those lines, right? I don't actually know how I would play this out 100%, but I would definitely not place a smoke main again. I would definitely be placing a smoke somewhere in sight. So once, I think, I don't know if I mentioned this on the second round, but I think I mentioned this yesterday actually to one of the students. I like buying full util. Actually, I know I did mention it, didn't I? Okay, I like buying full util generally on the second round. So ecoing and that kind of stuff. I like buying full util because I don't know how to use it. I still keep it in the next round. Okay, so we're on 2 different wavelengths here with the Rays and the Sky. Because the Rays and the Sky, clearly to me, when I see them doing this, I don't need comms to tell me. I don't need them to come to me that they want to push. They are pushing, for sure. I call for okay. So this is where it comes. This is where, like, the difference in, like, this is something like when people come, you're obviously not expecting your teammates to follow your calls 100% of the time, right? And it takes a lot. Like, I learned this the hard way, honestly, as well. In that, when you're making calls, and if people don't listen to them, sometimes it's not better to just do the same play out of spite. So say if you're like saying like we should play a contact play here, right? And the other person doesn't have anything else that they want to do. They're just kind of doing nothing. Then you can actually say to yourself, like, I did the right play and I should just follow through with that contact play. Because I did the right play, like my teammate wasn't doing anything. They didn't actually have an idea in mind. But when your teammate has an idea in mind of how they want to do something, and especially because in this situation, I think it's pretty like up for debate what's the right play here. I think you just follow their call, and just do it. Obviously, they're not their call necessarily, but they follow like their game language, or their body language, their game language, or whatever you want to call it. They want to go fight, right? So I would be with them, right, trying to do that. You could also come with them as well if you're not sure. Like, if you're not sure what they want to do, ask what they want to do. Even if you are like trying to follow your own call, you're like, do you want to like? I would say like at this point, I would be saying to like this, like, if I want 2A, 1B, 2C, then, you know, I would adapt to my own call and just go run C as well. I also think as well on Lotus, 3-1-1 is better than 2-1-2, especially on buy rounds versus eco, because then you have a defined strong side that can most likely wipe the enemy team if they run into it. And if they don't run into the strong side, they go into one of the weak sides. Generally, it's a lot easier for that weak side to just get out and live, and then you do a 5v5 retake with better guns. Didn't realise until the last 3 seconds I was zoning out for the rest of the time. I called it because they haven't been hitting A, and C retake had been going poorly. The thing is, so I don't mind you like trying to adapt. The problem is that we're doing it too early. If they're having it, because the reason why is because in the first 3 rounds of the game, they're 3 distinct rounds. Pistol, like basically the force buy after pistol, or there's like the second round has like is pretty distinct in itself. The round after pistol, basically, where one team saves, one team full buys like into like bulldogs, specters, whatever, and then the third round is like bonus and like full buy. Right, they're like the 3 distinct like versions of that round, of these 3 rounds, right? If I do it in simpler terms, essentially what's happening is the bonus round is distinctly different from the previous round, so they're going to do like something completely different, or at least there's a decent chance they're going to do something completely different. It might not be that deep actually on the, oh sorry, I'm trying to press play. It might not be that distinctly different actually in lower elos, but in higher elos, like there is distinct difference between those 3 rounds in like the way that people play them, like call wise, like they'll have like set play, and then they'll like start adapting after that. And if to be fair, if C retake's been going poorly, then that's fine. Actually, I think if your reasoning makes sense for what you wanted to do, I think that's good enough, honestly. Ooh. I think that's good enough. As long as your reasoning makes sense for what you want to do, I actually don't mind. Yeah, because right now, like, you know that the raise is going through here. And I understand, like, you really want to make the play that you called. But, you know, it turns out it's not really going to happen. You just have to adapt to what the raise wants to do. And honestly, I've made this mistake a lot of times before. Being so caught up in my own play and wanting to do my own play, I thought it was the right thing to do. And then the teammate completely does not want to do it and does the complete opposite thing. That happens. You just have to try and adapt. Yeah, I think overall you played that round fine. Aside from the start, you're a bit too stubborn. And you might have even been a bit more stubborn. I think you would have been less stubborn maybe if the raise was like better, but she's honestly been horrendous this game. And if they don't agree with you, then that's like, you know, that's Valorant at this point. Lots of players aren't gonna agree. Lots of players aren't gonna listen to you. And sometimes it's just better to find the right page, like the same page, than it is to be on 2 different pages, and one of the play be the right play. Even 2 good plays. If you make 2 good plays separately, you're probably going to lose more than you're going to make 1 bad play separately, or 1 mediocre play like on the same page. So just try and be on the same page. Like, and honestly, because we're the ones getting the because we are us, right? We can't control that raise. We can't say to them, "Yo, can you be on my page, please?" We've got to actually like try and adapt to them, and we've got to try and arrive on their page, you know. And the best part about that as well is that if you do it early in the game, if you do that type of stuff early in the game, they might do the same back to you. If you call something in comms, and they might be, yeah, okay, let's do that, because you held me before. So this round I didn't go A, and you're actually doing what I like to do on Sky. So on Sky, if they don't come A very fast, I insta rotate through to B, just because I want to try and find a fight and be useful with my util. And generally on Initiate, I don't like being the last one on sites. If you have a chamber here, I don't mind you like looking to leave, but I think if you had like the Sky here with you, if you had the Rays here with you, you should probably be the one looking to stay, just because they would probably be looking to find fights. I think we kind of maybe skipped get some steps with this comm. So we said they're coming B or A, so we're not peaked, so we don't have to look at our screen. We're looking at the map. There's 3 there, right? The best comm here is just say 3 T spawn. We don't really need to say like they're coming B or A, because the reality of the situation is right now they could be walking back C. So I would just say T spawn and let the chamber comm the things that he might hear, because we can't hear those 3 players right now. If we hear them B right now, we can, because we can hear them B potentially if they're running. But let chamber comm like what he hears. Like, you might hear them running at him on T spawn, and that would be more of an indicator of if they're rotating A. But otherwise I'll just say a T spawn if we want to comm that. Or at least maybe be a bit more not necessarily indecisive, but like a bit more lenient with like what you say about what they're doing. So just say like they might be, or they could come A, or they could come B, rather than they are doing it. Because saying stuff like that definitive without actually knowing it could mean that you basically do a horrible miscom and lose the round because of it. So you just want to be a bit less. If you don't know, like sometimes it's better just to not say anything if you don't know anything. But you can just say like what you see. So just say 3T spawn. Really the best com there. Oh, you were so lucky to get the second one. Yeah, this is a bit too aggressive. Like, we should be looking for this because it's 4v3. Or 4v5, sorry. So, as soon as we die, it's a 4v4. Equal footing. And they also have, like, a route into B. And the fact that Rain didn't trade you is honestly just crazy. I said could and still got flamed because they took it literally. Well, that's lucky, I guess. Yeah, well, that's kind of what I mean. Like, if you don't know, sometimes it is better just to say nothing. Sometimes it is just better to say nothing. Like for instance, like you could be saying, like on that other one, you could say that they're going A, right? They're going. They could go A, they could go B. You could say that, or you could just say exactly where they are when you saw them. So you can say 3T spawn, and there's no way that they can misconstrue 3T spawn, because then they have to use their own brain and think, well, you know, they could go C as still, so I'm going to stay C. Usually it's better to like. Comms are like a really good cheat code for like making your teammates think something, right? So you could make them more aware that they could go A or B by saying they could go A or B. But if you say they are going A, it means that they don't have to look at their minimap. They can just agree instantly, right? So that means that you have to be really careful with your language and your comms, because you can make them agree to something that you don't even know is happening, and then they get confused. Because they think something's happening when it's not happening. You know what I mean? So you could say like they could go A, but they could read that as they are going A, and therefore they are going to rotate off C. And they just take it as gospel instantly. They take it as the truth instantly. So you want to be careful with like your comms. Sometimes if you don't know anything, it's best to just not say anything. Oh, and they surrendered. I wonder why it was going to end. Oh, so the drill is DM focus on head level, which is my own drill. It's got a terrible name, and I'm sure you can tell it's my own drill from the terrible name. Essentially, like jiggling, counter strafing, dead zoning, whatever you want to call it, same difference, same thing. And then your comms. So for comms, you can do active comms, and you can break down comms. So what do I mean by break down comms? So it's the thing I told you on Notepad before, on Notepad, where you break down the order of what to say. So, number one, what site or what area of the map do you want to talk about? And then two, timing. So, fast, slow, waiting, like whatever you want to do. Like do you want to go there fast and then wait? Like, essentially, all that type of stuff. And I think that's all you would need to do for now. Actually, what I'm going to say, I'll do one more thing. Call out one piece of teammate utility. So raise satchel or KJ ult for examples. So this is something I picked up on, which is I think your mid-round comms, even though you were looking for like plays to get you out of situations on A to go B, I didn't hear you commenting anything about it. So what I would say with active comms is it's like really, really hard to get active comms. But what I would say is whenever you look at your minimap, so your minimap, try and comm something. So I say actually macro active comms. Because I think your active comms when it comes to like making plays like with your paranoia was actually fine. But when it comes to like macro and finding the ways out, so like the outs from A, I didn't feel like you commed very much about what you wanted to do macro wise. So whenever you look at your minimap, try and comm something. So whenever you look at your minimap, I'm not sure if you know 100% like when you should look at your minimap, but generally the good rule of thumb is look at minimap when you can't shoot. So basically, knife out, util out, that kind of stuff. When you can't shoot, look at your minimap. And whenever you're looking at your minimap, think about something you can com about macro that's on the minimap, right? So what you want to do, and that could be like, yeah, like what English, what you want to do, what you're looking for. So if you're like, so for instance, like if you're looking at the minimap and you're on A on Lotus, let's see if I can actually find a clip of you being on A on Lotus for not argument's sake, but for like explanation's sake. You can look at, you're probably looking at the minimap right here, right? So you can, if you weren't actually like actively comming your flash, let's say you had your knife out here instead, for explanation's sake, you can come like, I'm looking to find a rotation through the door. Obviously, sounding very formal there. But yeah, I'm looking to find a rotation through the door. Can we break the door or something like that, right? Or can we slow down? Can we wait? Can we try and play for a pick? Or for instance, maybe if Chamber was over here instead, can we wait for Chamber to play for a pick? Like, can we wait for Chamber to do something on that side of the map? Because we put pressure on here so he can get a kill on a rotator, or that kind of stuff, right? But probably actually more likely on B. You would probably try and get a kill on a rotator, but that's you know, that's not that relevant anyway. So I think that's basically it for the review.